I'm M3GAN. Do you want to hang out?
The movie M3GAN is both smart and stupid, scary but funny, innovative yet original, surprising and at the same time predictable. It manages to balance opposite sides of the spectrum perfectly, and the way they did this was actually pretty clever. But the reason for doing this, it was actually even more so.
Oh, really?
The movie M3GAN is designed to be unnerving. Throughout the entire movie, it constantly makes the audience feel that something isn't quite right, and achieves this by using a variety of clever techniques. Something you probably didn't notice whilst watching the film is that the type of furniture and colour palette chosen for Gemma's house are predominantly masculine. The furniture, textiles and lighting are cold and somber and give the house more of a feel of a bachelor's pad rather than a warm and pretty atmosphere you'd expect in a more feminine household. This gave the viewer a feeling of contradiction, that this residence wasn't actually a comforting place and it was a generic house rather than a family home. The high-tech toy factory was also designed to be contradictory by combining the looks of toy factory and science lab. The room where KD first meets M3GAN was made to look colourful, childlike and happy, but the walls, furniture, ceiling and lighting were designed to be sterile, ordered and minimalistic. This makes for a scene that, on the face of it, should be endearing, but instead feels somewhat unsettling. This intentional discordance continued with the actual M3GAN doll itself. To achieve the illusion that M3GAN was a real android, they used 3 different methods. For long shots where M3GAN had to move quickly or broadly, they used a child actor in a mask. When these shots also had a close-up of M3GAN's face, they used the same method, but the mask was replaced with a digital version of the M3GAN doll's face. For all the other shots, animatronic puppets were used. For the movie, Moto Effects Studios built various animatronic puppets, and as you can see from their work on the babies for the 2017 film Mother, they could have easily made the M3GAN doll to be hyper-realistic. However, the filmmakers wanted the M3GAN doll to be just on the edge of reality, in a place that the industry calls Uncanny Valley. The term Uncanny Valley originally comes from a paper written by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori, where he maps out on a graph how we can feel an affinity for humans and we can feel an affinity for something that's not human. But as it becomes more and more human-like, there's a drop-off point where we begin to feel repulsion. This fall and rise in the graph is known as Uncanny Valley. Films like Final Fantasy and The Polar Express are infamous for having accidentally fallen into Uncanny Valley, but M3GAN did so on purpose. Another subtle discordance they achieved, although this one may not have been intentional, arose from the different methods used for the M3GAN doll. As you may have noticed earlier, the actor in a mask, the animatronic puppet, and the visual effects are all just slightly different.
It's insane, right?
This inconsistency adds to M3GAN's unsettling appearance, but it wasn't M3GAN's looks alone that were inconsistent. The way she moved also varied. In some scenes it was clearly robotic, in others it was elegant and human-like, other times it was wild and bestial, and others completely alien. The variety of movement gave M3GAN an unpredictability that left the audience never quite knowing what to expect. Sound design is an extremely important component of any movie, but perhaps even more so within the horror genre. M3GAN used sound design to increase the tension of a scene, like here in the forest scene, where the sudden silence brings a sense of impending doom, and the introduction of low rumbling bass adds menace. Then later they used it to reinforce an action or motion, to give the impression of something powerful charging up, and later when M3GAN runs on all fours, to give her motion a more aggressive, bestial feeling. M3GAN also used clever sound design to trigger our imagination. In this scene, the clever use of sound meant that the viewer could imagine what would happen next without them ever having to show it on screen. If we replay the last part and listen closely, all it took was a crunch, an orchestra hit, a deep bass drum, and a dog's whimper to trigger our imagination. The clever reason for doing everything we've discussed in this video was to open the movie M3GAN up to a wider audience by getting a PG-13 rating. By making the M3GAN doll look how she did, they made the viewer instantly distrust her before she even opened her mouth. By making her movements inconsistent, they made the audience wary of her capabilities. By creating contradicting sets and scenery, they put the viewer subconsciously on edge. With clever sound design, they built up tension and stimulated the viewer's imagination. And by introducing humor, they got the viewer to release some of that tension, but still be acutely aware that something ominous was coming. By using all of these techniques, not only did the filmmakers manage to scare us with a pretty decent horror movie, but they managed to do so without the need for extreme blood and gore, excessive swear words, or gratuitous violence. Good job.
Turn off.
Support Mr. Green by sending us a super thanks. Just click on the thanks button under the video and choose an amount to donate. This will ensure Mr. Green gets a new banana. He will be happy. Also, we really appreciate every last one of you guys, so stay safe and thanks for watching our video.